Hello. Hi everyone. Good morning. So in the today's class, we are gonna study about a brief overview on a Jasmine, its syntaxes, and other stuff. So there are different kinds of frameworks available like Jasmine and Mocha. So we are gonna study in detail about this Jasmine and its syntax basically. What are all the components we have in this syntax and other stuff we are gonna study here. So Jasmine is a behavior-driven development framework for testing a JavaScript code. So it is a behavior development, behavior-driven development framework. It doesn't depend on any other JavaScript framework. So it is not depending on any other frameworks. And moreover, it does not require a DOM, which is clean and the obvious syntax so that you can easily write down your test cases using this particular Jasmine. If you have a look into this syntax, it is starting with a describe. Within the parenthesis, we are giving a string as a parameter followed by a function. And here it has a it blocks and which contains a string parameter followed by a function. So here we have a written expect true to be true, something we have a defined here. But majorly if you observe, this Jasmine framework contains a describe and a it. Describe has a two parameters and it has a two parameters. Fine. So we need to know what exactly a describe is, what exactly an it is. Usually, the test suite begins with a call to the global Jasmine function describe. So here, describe is a global Jasmine function. So whatever the test suite is, it will begin with the describe itself. And this describe has a two parameters. One is a string and another one is a function. So usually what we need to pass it in a string and what we need to pass in a function. String. The string is a name or title for a specific suit. So here from the previous example, this string, the first value string, it is the name of that particular suit. Okay, this is the name of that particular suit. On which suit you are gonna work, this is gonna name of that particular suit. And then the next one is, if you observe, the string is a name or a title for a specific suit. Usually what is being tested, what exactly we are going to test need to be specified in it. Okay, that's fine. Then what exactly a function is? It is a block of a code that implements the suit. Okay, so if you observe here the logic, okay, within the function we are gonna write down the block of functions. Okay, so this is the one we are gonna write down a block of logics inside that. Okay, great, that's fine. So this is a describe, fine. Then what about the other stuff? Specs are defined by calling a global Jasmine function it. So here, this one, the individual test cases are gonna specify here with this particular it, which is like a describe. It takes a string and a function. See here, there is a no much a difference between these two. Okay, it is accepting a string and accepting a function, which is a describe. Even the it is also accepting a string and as well as a function. Both are almost one and the same. Okay, both are almost one and the same. Okay, the string is the title of the specification. So what exactly the title of that specification? Whereas here in the describe, the string is the title of the suit. This one is gonna be the title of the suit. Okay, this one is going to be the title of the suit, and this is going to be the title of the test case. There is a small difference between these two. Okay, both are titles, but there is a small difference between these two. Fine. And the function is a spec or a test case. Basically, whatever the logic you would like to write down need to be defined in this particular spec. And here A spec contains one or more expectations that the test state of the codes. Okay, fine. There is expectations is gonna test the state of the code. What exactly an expectation is? An expectation in Jasmine is an assertion. It is an assertion basically. So here, if you have a look into the current example, basically, expect true dot to be true, which is a condition which gonna verify something on this particular test case. Okay, a spec with all the true expectations is a passing spec. Okay, fine. You know that if everything got passed, then it's gonna be a pass spec. A spec with the one or more of false expectations is a failing expectation. Okay, that's fine. We already know that particular one. And then the next one is it's just a function. Since a describe and it or a block of functions, they contain any executable code necessary to implement the test. So usually a simple question will rise in our mind, what does this describe and it contains? So this is the answer. Any executable code necessary to implement the test will be defined under this particular it. JavaScript coding rules apply. So variable declared in a describe and are available to any it block to inside a suit. So the meaning of this particular one is within a single describe, we can add a multiple its. Okay, within a single describe, we can add a multiple its. If you define a variable inside a describe on all the its, we can use that particular variable. A simple example is this one. How can I compare this one means with respect to Java? This how can I compare this one means this describe, I can compare it as a class, and this it I can consider it as a method. A class can have a multiple methods inside that. If you define a variable within a class, which will be applicable for all the methods. The same way here, a describe can have a multiple its inside that. The variable defined in that particular it can be accessed for all the its. That's it. So this is the way how can we justify the describe and a it. So while writing our programs, we will go for a describe and we will create a multiple its based on our requirement. Fine. So as we are using a describe and a it, you need to know the definitions of that and the parameters which we need to pass and the basic syntax here. And then usually a simple question will rise in our mind. Okay, we are going for Protractor. On which browsers I can execute my test script? Protractor supports the two latest versions of major browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and IE. These are used in a Protractor own suite of test cases itself. Okay, note that because a Protractor uses a WebDriver to drive the browsers, any issue with the WebDriver implementation such as a Firefox driver, Chrome driver, IE driver will show up in Protractor. Whatever the issues you have with respect to your browser in a WebDriver, the same issues are going to reflect here in this particular Protractor. So WebDriver issues are going to reflect in a Protractor. Fine. So this is an overview of a Jasmine and the browsers supported in Protractor. We will continue the topic with a small example in the next session. That's all I have. See you again in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.